Welcome back, everybody. We're live, as always, here at the DreamHack Zowie Open for the WCS Circuit Summer Championship, as we get closer and closer to finding out who is going to be the next champion, the next DreamHack champion. Upcoming next, we've got a very exciting game. We'll talk about that in a couple of moments, but first, of course, a big thank you to our sponsors, Zowie, Razer, G2A, Monster Energy, and of course, Alienware. Do you remember the old social media hashtag, DHOpen and WCS? Joining me on the panel this time, we have Maynard, Todd, and Rotterdam. Good morning, Kev.
Good morning, Shani.
How are you doing, Kev?
Good. Excellent start of the day, I think.
Yep.
Nice to see Major finally having a pretty decent run already. It's not over yet. He's in the quarterfinals, but that's good. It's been a while since we've said that, so that's nice. And obviously, I'm getting excited now because the Protoss players are coming to the party, and that's when you know it's getting lit up.
Major's got a top 8, and I spoke to a lot of people back here. They believe a top 4 is almost imminent. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's looking very, very likely here. It's getting me excited. Getting me a little bit wiggly since see those races get up there.
Yeah, get those Terrans through to the next stages of every tournament, hopefully. But here's some highlights from the previous game. Violet in a very dangerous position now with his WCS points. He's inside the top 8. Will he remain inside the top 8? It's going to be a question over the next couple of weeks. But definitely a fun series to watch, Todd.
Yeah, a lot of good things were shown. I really liked when Major actually shines, although he kind of spoiled Violet's global final hopes a little bit there. Obviously, Violet wanting to score some more of these points. The Frost game was interesting. Command center on location on the third base was a little bit overeager by Major, so he got punished for it. But then eventually, really picked up pace. And I just love to see a player like this, like Major, just pull out mech and show us some good, some good Terran plays and somehow make it work.
And of course, it's not a major win. It's not a major at a tournament without a couple of stains on his t-shirt, as always. Can't seem to play at tournaments without them.
He had the best celebration of all time post-interview as well. He just came backstage and ate all the peanuts that were around and flamed us all.
Yeah, and then walked back to his practice area.
I heard what you said about me before the game.
See you in the quarterfinals then. Let's check in with the bracket as we've started to develop that quarterfinal. As you can see, some players now moving forward. Of course, 2 games being played at a single time is allowing us to find out exactly where we are with the quarterfinals. It's starting to take shape. In a second, when we bring up the bracket, don't worry, it's coming in a second, guys. With the bracket, though, okay, it's not quite ready for you. I thought it was coming, it's not coming, so hold on a second. Saved it. But it is starting to get very interesting. Obviously, the more closer we get towards the deeper stages of the tournament, with Major through, we've got Marine Lord and Hero Marine playing at this current point in time. They're in Game 5. They're going to be playing against each other.
Pretty epic series too.
Yeah, I think things were looking very good for Marine Lord. It's not over yet. I mean, I don't want to be that guy that says I'm pretty sure Marine Lord is going to advance, but it looked pretty good. Marine Lord normally not the type of guy to throw a 40 supply advantage in a later stage in the game. So things were looking well for the French there. And I mean, it's really cool because I walked around this morning and we don't really talk about Marine Lord making it to BlizzCon because he had to sit at the sidelines for a little while. But I talked to him. He's like, well, if I get second place here and I have a decent run in Mexico, I can still make it. So those guys, they're still believing they can make it to the global playoffs. And I think that's really cool because we don't even talk about Marine Lord making it to the global playoffs. But he's thinking about it. He looks at the bracket. He's like, yeah, final is doable here. So
winning the whole thing again qualifies the winner for the global finals. And Marine Lord is a guy who in Nation Wars all killed Korea pretty much. So
yeah, we keep bringing it up, but it's always worth bringing up.
Well, fingers crossed for him. He will be playing very shortly, or currently he's playing hopefully in the next round as well. Here is the bracket though. Finally, this time it is ready for you guys. You can see where we are so far in this tournament. Hero Marine.
Whoa!
Update, live update. That's why we couldn't show the bracket the first time. It is Hero Marine who actually eliminates Marine Lord then, and will go up against Major.
Wow.
Yeah, Terran confirmed in the round of 4.
Man, what a quarterfinal. If you would have predicted that in the beginning of the tournament, I think Hero Marine versus Major is going to be the quarterfinal on that side of the bracket. People would have laughed at you and said, stop playing so much Hearthstone and start playing StarCraft again.
Very good run from Hero Marine though. Showtime and then Marine Lord.
That's
very
that's
good.
sick. 2 big wins.
Here's the schedule for the rest of the day. True versus Harstem coming up. We'll talk about that in a minute. Thermal versus Neeb, the rematch from the Industry Masters Shanghai finals just a couple of weeks ago in China. And of course, Nurcho versus Scarlet. Always looking forward to that one. And then of course going into the quarterfinals.
That's the rematch also, Nurcho versus Scarlet, of the Home Story Cup semi-finals. Yes. It was a pretty epic series.
And DreamHack Tours.
Kev.
Elephant brain, baby.
I know. You'd be like, Kev, you remember that series in May 2012 at MLG in the round of 64?
He probably
like,
does.
yeah, I do actually, yeah. What about it?
A great run for Crank back then. MLG Rally 2012.
All right, so let's talk about our next game then. This, well, maybe can be an exciting one, but I'm a little bit worried that this could be a very one-sided one. True's come into this, he's already eliminated Snoot easily. Now he's going up against Harstem. Kev, are we in for a one-sided fight or not?
No, absolutely not. Harstem is extremely good in PvZ. This man, however, is very scary. I mean, I play in the North American ladder, my MMR is not that high, but every now and then when it's, at the weird times, at 4 a.m., who else is playing ladder at 4 a.m.? Well, True is, and then I look at the loading screen, it's like, this is going to be painful, guys, close your eyes, it will be over real soon. He's really good, and this man loves queens. Now, most Zerg players love queens, don't get me wrong, but True has an unhealthy obsession with queens. There is a good chance we even see some Nidus network queen play and stuff.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really cool series, but Harstem's so good in PvZ.
He gave us a great interview at Home Story Cup where he said he makes so many queens because he likes their sexy dance and it makes him excited. Whereas Harstem, finally, for the first time, this is actually the year where we can say that the hashtag year of Harstem is starting to make a lot of sense. He's playing better than ever, always extra cheeky. Those have a terrible win rate though against True, but most of these games are fairly hold. I think they've only played once this year and it was like a best of one, so shouldn't really do that too much. He's playing better than he ever has, and I wouldn't put it past him here if he made it really far.
So these guys do believe in Harstem to put up a fight. Maynard, from the very Terran neutral perspective, what are we looking at?
I would have loved to have cast this because this is a PvZ for the ages. True versus Harstem, and they're absolutely right. Harstem's PvZ is incredible. His PvT is incredible. I guess the only thing letting him down is his PvP, but I actually think this is going to be a fight. I would favor True, but I think that Harstem is definitely going to put up a very, very close fight, like maybe a 2-3 here or something like that. But just look at him. He's so confident. He's won 2 large tournaments.
Yep.
Unfortunately, at these WCS events, he hasn't done too great, but this is already his best run.
And we all know with the WCS points, of course, it's all about the WCS points being the Summer Championship. True, we know what he needs to do. Basically, just needs to win the tournament.
Yeah.
Harstem, though, is kind of close to being within the top 8. He does need a good performance, top 4 perhaps, maybe pushing a little bit further in the tournament, but it is possible for him too, Kev.
It's absolutely possible for both of them, and this is not a cliche, this is not hyping this up. I mean, True obviously would have loved to be part of WCS Season 2 already, so he had more chances. That didn't work out. This is pretty much his only shot. He is good enough to win the whole damn thing, but I think if there's one race out there that could stop him, I mean, a couple of ZVZs could be risky against Nurture or Scarlet. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say that True's got it, but I mean, ZVT, most of the time True is going to win in this tournament. ZVP, however, Harstem is one of the absolute best. I mean, I'm not sure if I would favor his PvZ over Neep's PvZ, but it's pretty damn close up there. I've casted multiple series of Harstem against Snoot where he made it look easy, and if you can make a win over Snoot look easy, then you know what you're doing in PvZ.
I think you do your job, Kev. You've convinced me that Harstem can put up a fight here, get a bit of goosebumps on the skin.
Yeah, I'm getting
Starting
excited.
to believe. Final
really
thoughts then, predictions. I think we're going to maybe be split here, or where are we going? Kev, you want to start? I guess Harstem.
This is not a Dutch bias prediction, but I truly believe that Harstem is going to take this one 3-1 or 3-2.
Todd, prediction and final thoughts?
I think Harstem 3-2.
I already said True 3-2.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time to go into the next round of 16 games to see who's going to move to the quarterfinals. It's time to begin. An exciting match for sure. We're going to go over to the commentary team. It's going to be Rotti and Todd.
Thank you very much, Apollo. Very excited for this one here. The Netherlands against South Korea, and True finally here taking on these big European names. Already took out Snoot, which is very impressive, but now he goes up in a completely different matchup against a very good Protoss who's finally making this year a lot about himself.
Absolutely. I mean, this is one hell of a bracket for True. Snoot in the round of 32, Harstem in the round of 16. Almost as hard as Heroes in Marine bracket. I guess Showtime in the round of 32, Marine Lord in the round of 16. That's sick as well. Either way, we are loaded into King Sejong Station, and I'm ready for this best of 5.
Starting in the bottom right-hand side of the map here, playing as the Red Zerg, it's of course True.
Representing Psystorm Gaming, he seems to be very happy with them. We see lots of happy clips of him living the life in America, driving around in fancy cars and eating burgers. That's what the American dream is all about, Todd.
Yeah. What else do you need?
Over here on the left top side, we're looking at the main base of our Dutch Protoss player. He's won 2 tournaments so far. Can he make it 3? It is Harstem.
You know, you mentioned he's won 2 tournaments, but you know, it's nice to win Home Story Cup and stuff, especially with the history that he has with this tournament, but there was no WCS points up for grab there. If there had been, he would have been in such a comfortable position here right now in terms of those rankings. Whereas now he needs to score more points here to try and make it to the global final. So Harstem, he has that extra motivation. Whereas I'm sure the same is true for Snoot. He waited a long time to finally move to North America to be able to take part in WCS. Gave up, a Codes spot.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's been a great year for Harstem. The only times he hasn't really performed. I mean, he is a little bit of an inconsistent Protoss in general. Like even DreamHack Valencia, he bombed out in the third group stage, which was a big surprise. But Harstem has not performed in these big WCS circuit championships. He lost in the round of 32 season 1 against Massa in Katowice, and he lost in the round of 32 against Jim back then. But once again, don't look too much into those results because Harstem's PvZ is more than excellent. I even heard him talk about it this morning as well. He's like, I just get it. That's what he said. He's like, I just get it. And the moment you get PvZ, then this can become a very, very pleasant matchup to play as a Protoss.
He has had some very impressive games. These finals against Scarlet over at Home Story Cup was obviously pretty impressive. And the thing about these players is that, backstage they study so hard, they talk. He spent the entire morning here, talking with Elaser, watching VODs of True, really analyzing his style. And actually one of the games that I saw him watching of True was on King Sejong Station when True was playing against Showtime and went for, again, a lot of queens, you talk about it, and very Zergling heavy style into Banelings, into Hydralisk and then Lurkers. And Showtime was very successful against that style back then, but that was a while back. You can always expect True to have made some improvements since then, but for Harstem to get such a close look at the style, generally speaking, of True and be able to really think about how he's going to try to counter it is always a nice advantage to have.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to talk about my own games too much because True can pretty much do whatever. He can make Mass Corruptor and beat me if he truly wants to. But what I notice whenever I play against him, he loves queens more than almost any Zerg out there. He will just keep on making them. And he's also a Zerg that expands very, very aggressively. Not necessarily to saturate those mineral lines, but just to have that extra larva because he loves playing Zergling heavy styles. Then obviously you need all that production. Harstem is going to have to be very careful with his adepts. I mean, this first adept is just a scout, make sure he doesn't get all in or something crazy like that. Expecting, whoa, he actually lets it finish, Johan. I'm a little bit surprised to see this. I wouldn't mind to see True actually pull a couple drones to get the surround off. He doesn't even need to do that. That was a mistake, I think, by Harstem.
I guess 2 drones though, I guess. When I do that, I kill 0, so I find a little bit of a win somewhere in there.
But you know how it is, right? Like the next wave of adepts, every adept matters, and like 5 or 6 adepts is a pretty big difference.
Especially when you go resonating glaives like this and 3 gateways, usually there is like a minimum commitment, obviously, to being aggressive and doing some damage with this that you're going for. We've seen Nib actually make some serious magic happen with just a bunch of adepts, shading in and killing pretty much everything, or doing a lot of damage every time. So I'm sure Harstem may be looking to try and do a similar thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a very popular style, right, in PvZ. You open up with the 1 gateway, a couple of adepts, resonating glaives, 2 more gates. You go up to 3 bases, and meanwhile you pressure with 5, 6, 7 adepts. You just force out units, and if they don't make units, you kill all their drones. So
True is showing some real respect here, by the way, for this. He's going roaches here already. True is not always... On the contrary, it's more like the Zerg, that will drop down an Evo, go for +1 melee attack, and then go very Zergling heavy and, into Banelings. A lot of the time you're going to see him skip roaches, I feel like. Whereas now he's making a lot of units, probably thinking about going across the map here for his own attack.
I mean, it's interesting because this is of hatchery tech. I mean, if he can get roaches nearby, it's very nice. He picks up the second probe as well, but 2 pylons do get dropped. It would have been awesome for True if these pylons did not get dropped. Good warp in there by Harstem, keeping these Zerglings away.
True realizes that there was going to be an adept attack here from Harstem. I mean, it's kind of, the Zerg versus Protoss meta, so he's hoping to catch these adepts in the middle of the map.
Yeah, there are Zerglings coming as well. These Zerglings could potentially get this round off. 2 adepts do finish up. That's a very odd choice by Harstem. I like this so far by True, but obviously he needs to do more, Todd.
This is exactly what he was scouting on here. Catching some of these adepts in the middle of the map, killing some of them, then moving across the map, getting a cancel on the 3rd base could be huge for him, but he's actually going completely all in here. 37 drones against 47 probes. He's going to build up more forces, and Harstem, I'm not sure he's reading into this properly here, because he's still making probes. He's starting an extra pylon here to try and have an overcharge towards where the fight is going to be, but there's just going to be so much anyway, Roddy, that I'm really worried for Harstem there.
Yeah, I'm absolutely worried as well, but it is doable. If the force fields are perfect, a couple of Ravages are going to complicate things a little further, but he does have 1 Immortal on the way. He has to keep this Mothership Core alive, by the way. If the Mothership Core dies, oh, that's good, Corrosive Bow. He does almost connect with it. Not completely. Forces out another photon overcharge, though. These sentries, though, are awfully exposed. They will fall, and even a couple of these adepts are going to fall. Wow. True dominating in game number 1 here on King Sejong.
Our observer is pointing out there is 12 army supply to 50 here right now in True's favor. you can't do much there, really. That first Immortal couldn't come out soon enough, and as it's about to come out, Harstem has almost nothing left.
Just a little too sloppy by Harstem, lost the first adept, then let 2 more adepts finish up, lost those as well, and then just didn't have the right amount of units to deal with this. Pushes like this have always been hard to deal with. If you see it coming in time, then sometimes Protoss players can, you know, set themselves up very strong defensively, but this time I don't think it's going to matter. Photon Overcharge is good, but he doesn't have it anymore. GG! True takes game number 1. I must say, Todd, very convincingly on King Sejong Station.
Harstem definitely struggled here against this attack. Maybe he saw the first couple roaches, shaded out of it, but probably thought it was just like a light pressure where like maybe he thought that True had made some of these units to make sure he could defend the adepts, but wasn't necessarily going to go all in. Because the defense has to be very different than what he was going for. You need to obviously cut pro production. He was already quite a few walkers ahead, make only units, make sure you perfectly place, link the perfect force fields and everything, and in this case, we're just able to pull it off here.
Yeah, I mean, I do think since he already had a decent economy, he could probably still make units of 3 gateways, and the robotics facility wasn't exactly finished up yet, so maybe he just felt like, I have this extra money, there's a good chance I'm going to lose a couple of workers, I'll still make a few.
Usually you get extra gates, right? You don't need to build your economy against somebody who's going all in. You just need to hold these all in.
Yeah, that's a good point. Having like 5 gateways could have helped out a lot there. But I just think if you already lost 3 units and you just didn't really do anything with it, it becomes very hard. I mean, maybe a very mature choice, obviously a very rough one, would be to just let this Nexus die. And then like just build up an army and then like go for it again, because obviously there's no layer attack on the other side of the map.
That first adept dying too from Harstem, like you touched on it, how important that was going to be, and it ended up being very important. He played right into True's hand, because not only his build was a lot more hidden, because there wasn't the threat of an adept shade coming in and scouting this, there was also one less unit for Harstem to defend with.
Yeah, and then in the middle of the map, you know, when that was excellent movement, of course, by True on his roaches, where he forced the shade to cancel, but let a couple finish, and then the links jumped on those immediately. Either way, a very, very convincing game 1 by this man. We are loaded into Frost. We're looking at the main base of the man that's representing Psystorm Gaming. Give it up for True.
Looked great in game number 1. And his opponent starting at the top right hand side of the map, playing against the Blue Protoss, is of course Evasion's Harstem.
We've got vertical spawns on Frost. I think this is something that Harstem can live with. Of course, you got to worry about these aggressive plays, and True, once again, I've seen him walk queens across the map on Frost, believe it or not. Like, he's the type of Protoss player to do it, especially if he would go up against a Stargate. I'm not sure if he would do it against any sort of opening that Harstem would much more likely go for, because Harstem is not a very big fan of the quick Stargate in this matchup.
Yeah, which is a little bit uncommon, you know, like a lot of Protosses, they like to resort to it. Guys like Showtime, we see them use that stuff all the time. Maybe that makes Harstem a little bit predictable, which obviously, you know, when that's the case, if you're somebody as smart as True, you can kind of play into. And in that last game, really, like the attack he went for, it kind of felt like Harstem never really had a chance against it.
Yeah, it just comes down to a lot to adapt control, right? And how much can you do with these adapts? Can you keep them alive? How many units can you force out? And on what time can you indeed identify that you're not just dealing with a couple of defensive roaches, but these are roaches to kill you. They're going to walk across the map. And it was just not good enough for game number 1. I think as a Harstem, you just got to forget about it. You're like, all right, that didn't work out. King Sejong can be a tricky map, you know, it's kind of large and it's long and you can be caught off guard. It's relatively hard to secure your third base. I think it's a little bit easier on Frost.
Yeah. True gets the first scout here with his Overlord going in the right direction, spots the second gateway already going up, so he pretty much knows that, you know, double adept production here very early on is going to be an option for Harstem if he wants to go forward. Gonna have to be careful here with that gas in the main. That was 4 probes on it from Harstem.
I must say, it's been a while since I've seen Harstem just die against an attack like that. I'm getting a little bit worried about our prediction, Todd, because I must say, I mean, you can pick up game number 1, but that was a very, very convincing game number 1 by True.
I think you talked earlier about how Harstem also is a little bit inconsistent. You know, sometimes you're gonna see him go into a tournament, just power through everybody and destroy one opponent after another, but sometimes he just comes in and, you know, bombs out a little bit earlier than you would expect him to, considering how good he is. And definitely looking like he could be the ladder here if he doesn't, you know, fix his problems and starts playing a little better against a True who so far in this tournament, he's impressing a lot. Just not just in the tournament, even in the qualifiers. You know, he took out, I think it was Puck, Pili, like very good players in the North American qualifiers already.
And so far he has played one tournament in America, the Philadelphia, won that one too pretty convincingly. I believe the grand final was 4-1 against Kalamazoo or something like that.
Not bad.
No, I think other than that he just dropped
Pretty
one
good.
map throughout the entire tournament. I mean, True is a beast. He's very, very good. He's on top of the North American ladder already. Harstem is going to let these adepts finish up. Speed is not done yet.
Wow, he wasn't attacking for some time.
He's going to get like 4 workers maybe? Yeah, okay. I like it. I think 4 is good. I think you can live with 4 workers here. Look at the worker count, Johan.
I'm looking at
33
it.
probes against 19 drones.
Wow.
What?
And then behind is Twilight Council, then the Robo. So if he drops down at least one more gateway, gonna have the possibility, you know, to go forward with a Warp Prism, warp in a bunch of adepts, keep up with the pressure. Usually you always go for a third base no matter what, unless you want to go absolutely crazy and drop down 7 gate and, you know, pull a new school Huck here with you know, an all-in on 2 bases. But we don't see this very often on Legacy of the Void.
No, especially not from the more solid Protoss players out there. I feel like most of the time whenever you see that, it's a Protoss that just is not super confident in the matchup or doesn't like playing on a particular map. We see the Baneling nest being thrown down, 10 more drones on the production tab for True. So he's just going to play this safe for now. He does have a nice amount of links out there already, so Harstem has to make sure that if he wants to go up to 3 bases, he actually has something to protect that probe and that Nexus. Look at the Mothership Core, by the way. Well, that's a Warp Prism, Todd. There's a good chance we see 5 more gates being thrown down then.
Oh, he doesn't have a probe around the 3rd base?
But the Mothership Core is so late.
Yeah, like I said, like you almost always see a 3rd base here with this. You can still be fairly aggressive, to be honest, with the adepts. And it's always that question of will the Zerg have exactly enough to be able to defend this, which is very hard, because obviously as Zerg you want to be droning up, but then if you drone up a little bit too much, you won't have enough units.
This is what I meant. I mean, these Zerglings could potentially cancel both pylons. They shouldn't be able to get the Nexus, but getting both pylons is already quite nice.
A lot more links actually being made right now here. True cutting drone production at 44.
Yeah, that could be risky, because if Harstem identifies this, a couple of Banelings being morphed as well. I believe those are defensive Banelings. Where are the Banelings being morphed? Are they on the other side of the map? Oh, yes, they are.
Oh, wow. The dream for True here is to get a cancel on the 3rd base and defend well enough back at home that he doesn't take any economic damage. And then he will be in a great position. The dream for Harstem, obviously, is to save his 3rd base and across the map do a bunch of damage. Let's see if he reacts quickly enough against us.
That's a good wraparound. That's an excellent wraparound. Wow. Most of the adepts will almost fall immediately. Good job there by True. Of course, on the other side of the map, he does have Queens to fall back on as well.
4 more gates and an Immortal here being made. It doesn't look like we're going to have any upgrades starting in this game. It's going to be fast and furious.
Good luck making Warp Prism Arrest work against this man. We do see 5 more gates indeed being warped in. There's an Immortal on the way as well. There are still no pylons over here. True as well. Actually, there's 1 pylon, sorry. I didn't see it. My vision is very bad, Jonas. I've lost the contact lens.
Against True, when your Warp Prism gets across the map, it just like disintegrates. He always has like Queen in position, like the bodyguards. That's a lot of links and banelings there. I don't think there is any overcharge available. True looking to try and get that Nexus. He blows up the pylon and targets the Nexus, and I think he's going to be able to get it, Roddy, and behind he's be able to comfortably start droning back up against a Harstem who's pushed against the fence here. He might have to go all in with this. He's got so many gates, actually.
And this also has to do something with the fact that Harstem's Mothership Core was so late, so he only had 1 photon overcharge, and of course he wasn't paying attention when he lost those 6 or 7 adepts. It's not supposed to be that easy for a Zerg player to just jump on 6, 7 adepts and kill them all. I love the follow-up, of course, with a few additional Banelings, blowing up both pylons. I mean, True is playing awesome. He's making all the right plays.
Yeah, this is so smart for True here to say, okay, I have a lot of Zerglings and Banelings. If he goes all in, which is a decent option here for Harstem, because he kind of pushed him into it. He gets to cancel again on the 3rd Nexus. Okay, he says if Harstem goes all in, I could be worried about one thing. That's force fields around his army if I engage into him and taking a bad fight. So what does he do? Pneumatize Carapace and Evo Chamber. He can drop some Banelings on top of this army and sentries. There is almost no anti-air. How are you supposed to defend against it? If you force field around your army, you're basically digging your own grave, right? You're going to be stuck in there and losing everything.
Yep, we see the first Dropaloids on the way. I love everything that True is doing. He's putting up a masterclass of how to play Zergling Baneling over here on Frost.
2 Overlords being morphed here now, and
this is, I mean, the moment that Harstem sees he's overloaded with speeds, I think he already knows what's going on. He's like, well, this could get very ugly. There's not a single Stalker in this army, and he's even forcing defensive warp install. Stuff like this is really good as well, because that makes Harstem's army so much smaller on the other side of the map. Of course, this is true. There are 6, 7 queens over here.
Here comes the Baneling drop. There's really not that much anti-air to do anything against this, and all these adepts here are clumped up. He's gonna force field to try and pull back and then maybe spread out a little bit, but True stays patient, he just pulls back. He knows that if he defends, if he's won this game.
Couple of Zerglings coming in from the back as well, not all that many. I mean, this is hard for Harstem to attack into. He doesn't have anything that really takes care of Queens very quickly. More Banelings morphing up. There's no Baneling speed, but there are Dropalords. Force fields are good so far though, Todd.
Hey, look at his overlords though. They're going to be better, I think. Even the links on the ground will be a fight.
Oh, he needs to do it now.
That would be hard to win here for Harstem. He's trying to split maybe a little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty well done, to be honest. I mean, this could still be a couple of very decent connections. All the Adepts are quite clumped up. Here come the Banelings from True, and they will connect with the majority of the Adepts, and Harstem's army is suddenly starting to look a little bit smaller, but at the same time,
he's got more army.
Yeah, True also doesn't have all that much.
True maybe took his time a little bit too much.
No more
Banelings are going to come in there, but the splits are very good for Harstem. These Immortals.
Wow.
I guess wearing their name well, staying alive for a very long time. Finally are going to go down. The Queens really helping here with these links, but Harstem is still trading against this.
Yeah, but look at the production of True on any given moment, Johan. There's like 24, 26 Zerglings on the way. He's mining up 3 bases, has a 4th hatchery as well. More Banelings morphing, and +1 Carapace, +1 melee has finished up as well. Good micro on these Queens. I think True is going to hold over here. This is awesome play by True.
I think he's almost done it here. There's a lot of Queens as well that could target the Warp Prism. He actually goes for it. Harstem is going to have to pull this back. He does it a little bit too late. And the Warp Prism goes down, and with this, True goes up 2-0 here. Up against Harstem.
It's a flawless game by True. He just did everything right from the beginning. I loved it. Lost a few drones, perhaps too many, but then the links that he had, he just got maximum value out of them. You know, made it hard for those pylons to be dropped at the third base. Then eventually shut it down. I love the wraparound with the links and the Banelings connecting on those Adepts. And then of course the follow-up with those 5-6 additional Banelings blowing up 2 pylons at once. It's like, alright, your third base is dead. And then he knows that Protoss only has one choice. That is to go for that massive 2-base all-in. And you mentioned it very quickly, Todd, the Evil Chamber. All so smart. It's so good what he's doing.
Absolutely. Thinking one step ahead. And the dream happened. I talk about the dream, right? Getting the perfect defense back at home and getting a cancel on that third base. It happened perfectly here for True because he read into what was happening perfectly. He cut drones exactly on time. I think 44 was like a good number that he was going to be able to make links continuously. He didn't rush too fast into upgrades. And the choice of going for Evil Chamber and Pneumatized Carapace, I think if he doesn't do that, he can very well lose to this counter-attack here from Harstem.
No, absolutely. I mean, we all know how good Adepts can be, and a couple of sentries make it even so much harder.
It was closer than I thought too here, this fight, actually.
Yeah, but it's just like the moment I knew that True was going to be fine is if you look at the production tab. It's just on any given moment. Like, he didn't crumble under the pressure. He didn't slack macro-wise. Like, no. And I also love how he wasn't too trigger-happy with these Banelings in the Dropalords. He waited for a very long time and then eventually got very juicy connections. I think he played excellent. That was just great defense.
And Harstem here, that must be starting to set in his mind a little bit.
Look at this moment, Todd. There's like +1 on the way, 2 Queens and 32 Zerglings. I mean, as a Protoss player, you always hope that it's like 6 or 8 or 10 links, you know. It's like, okay, my Adepts can deal with this. You can't deal with a Zerg who's making 34 Zerglings at once if you're on 2 bases. Alrighty. We are loaded into Frozen Temple, where it's already match point for this man that's representing Psystorm Gaming. He wants to win this entire thing and qualify for the global playoffs. Give it up for True.
And his opponent is a huge fan favorite as well, playing as the Blue Protoss. He needs your support. Give it up for Harstem. Definitely capable of doing better here than what we just saw from him. Although, you know, obviously True's playing really well. Harstem, I'm not used to, you know, seeing him struggle this much against, you know, this sort of attacks on his third base. For him to lose that, you know, really goes to show that maybe he's not in the zone as much as he would like to be. You mentioned that Mothership Core coming out a little bit late. Gonna have to be a little bit crisper with the build orders, maybe.
Like, I think game number 1 was definitely a game where we can look at it like, okay, you know, Harstem could have played a little better there. It didn't really make that much sense what he was doing with the Adepts, but the second game, I mostly want to attribute it to just True playing phenomenal and making all the right choices.
I think it could be also Harstem expecting True to be a lot more passive early on in the games from the VODs that he studied of him. Gonna be able to start an extractor here. The last thing, Harstem watches VODs. He watched VODs earlier of True going into the later stages of the game. Against Showtime, for example, when he played against him. And now he's facing a True who cut drones early, makes a lot of units, and moves across the map to try and go for the kill. If you don't expect that, if you don't see it coming, it's almost always going to do damage. Can you limit the damage? Yes, but Harstem wasn't able to do that well enough. And when your third Nexus starts being cancelled, usually you're in a lot of trouble.
I mean, we are in game 3 of a best of 5, and I don't think we've seen a single layer. I mean, that's when you know somebody has been aggressive, Todd, so you're definitely right. And Frozen Temple, also a map where you can be aggressive, but I think a lot of Protoss players that feel confident in this matchup, and I know so far it hasn't looked like it, but Harstem is a fan of this matchup, do like Frozen Temple. They like the one gate into Twilight Console, Resonating Glaives, 2 more gateways, because this is a map where you can put on so much pressure with the adepts. If you just have them in the middle of the map, you can shade in. If there are no units, let the shades complete. If there are units, well, just keep forcing out more units while going up to 3 bases. So I think that this is normally a map where Harstem is supposed to be very happy, but
it's one of the less tricky maps where, you know, scouting is going to be easier and it's more like test book, you know, like if you're better and you just play standard and do everything right, you should be able to win. So Harstem definitely going to rely on that, I think.
I must say though, like, from time to time, I've thought that this build from Protoss is almost too strong on this map to deal with as a Zerg player. But Scarlet, her defense yesterday against Spock on this map, that was awesome. That was like pretty much as good as it's ever going to get. So let's see if we can see the same thing from True here.
Oh,
Dark Shrine, very wow.
Desperate times, went behind, and apparently 0-2 behind in this case here for Harstem and facing elimination.
I mean, we just mentioned it, Todd. We are in game... Oh my god, this would be terrible. But we just mentioned it. We are in game 3 of a best of 5 and we haven't seen a single layer. Maybe Harstem has identified this as well. But this Zergling is getting awfully close to the right top side of the map. Is it going to spot the pilot? No. Oh my god.
It doesn't get any more dramatic than this. Does True realize that he can check the corner and he does. When the Dark Shrine is halfway through, Don Harstem realizes what's happening. And he had already started Resonating Glaives, he's getting 2 more gates, so maybe a last second cancel, hoping that the Zerg will go for Spores, but he's already invested quite a bit into this and delayed his own Resonating Glaives. And also,
I think you're
True,
right,
no matter what, he's going to be able to confirm whether or not the Dark Shrine finishes by leaving some links there.
Yep, I don't think he's gonna. I think he will absolutely cancel it. Yeah, there you go. That just makes a lot more sense.
And layer starts.
Yeah, first layer. I mean, Harstem has achieved something here. He's like, hey man, I'm gonna make you a layer in this game. I don't care what happens.
At least one time.
Yep. Zergling's out of position because they were working on that Dark Shrine. I like it. What we see over here from Harstem.
And very good micro pulling back, not getting surrounded immediately. He's gonna be able to get a lot of drones there.
That's more success than Harstem has had in this series so far. Todd getting 6 drones here immediately. That's an excellent start. I didn't mean it in a negative way, but this is just the first time where we truly see 2
It just
adepts.
came out funny, it's okay.
Yeah. I didn't mean it bad. It's just nice for Harstem to find an opening finally.
Yeah. 1 robo gonna go down, and it's 41 probes to 49 drones, so True still doing a good job with this, although he lost a couple of these drones.
Third Nexus is, I wouldn't call it super late. It still went down at the 4-minute mark, so it's on time. We've got these 2 pylons over here as well. It's important he keeps these alive. Yeah. I mean, I wonder what's True gonna do with his layer, Todd.
That was a bit weird. He started burrow, then cancelled it instantly. Maybe misclick a second ago there.
Don't tell me we're gonna see Nidus Networks.
Spire. Whoa, what?
Okay.
I expected something else. I expected maybe, you know, Hydralisk into Lurkers, maybe some Banelings, but seems like True there.
Yeah, it seems like True just wants to play a different style of ZVP. He doesn't want to make it easy for the Protoss.
Here's what True saw so far. He saw a Dark Shrine that was cancelled, so he knows that the follow-up is going to be Adept with Resonating Glaive. I think he's hoping to completely catch Harstem off guard. And the fact that he had the defense on the natural against these Adepts, that's more units that Harstem threw away. All he has to do is keep those links out on the map, make sure that no Adepts gets across the map. And that Spire is going to be left undetected. Protoss will not go into Stargates here almost ever unless their name is like SOS. So going for the Spire really could surprise Harstem and put him in trouble there.
The sentries are so important. Oh my, this is great because he forced out the energy. This means no hallucination. He actually picks off 2 of the sentries as well. He picks off the 3rd one too. True is ridiculous so far in this series.
And I don't think any observer was made and sent across the map. So Harstem's vision there, I don't think he saw anything.
Yeah, this is going to be so hard for Harstem.
He would need to stand in an Adept or something. I somehow see this coming. Maybe start a couple Stargates, but getting Immortals and Adepts, they're not the best unit against Mutas.
No, my Immortals don't shoot up, unfortunately. I mean, there's a good chance that these Adepts of the Warp Prism are going to see it, but it could already be a little bit too late. There is no Blink, there is no Templar Archives, and most importantly, like Todd said, there are no Stargates. This Warp Prism is going to get shut down immediately by these Mutalisks, and the moment that Harstem sees these Mutas, he's going to be like, oh my god, that's the last thing I ever wanted to see.
Oh, he starts Blink though. Start Blink at +1 and maybe some Stalkers now. Yeah, Harstem is ahead on Walkers though. If he's able to somehow do some damage there, buy himself a little bit of time, he might have a chance to pause the Spire now, but the Mutas are about to come up and they will clean up everything.
Stargate is going to go down. I mean, this is the, oh my god, I'm in so much trouble, Stargate. I'm going to get another pylon. He needs to get 2 more pylons around these Stargates, by the way, because Mutalisks will often try to unpower the Stargates, and if that happens...
True will stay active. He will try to fly from the main into the natural and maybe attack the third base with the Zerglings. Make sure that it's very hard for Protoss to defend everywhere, especially if he gets surrounded there. Don't start losing some of those very important units there, Harstem.
True's work account is very, very low though, so that is something to obviously be quite worried about. Photon Overcharge pushing out a lot of damage immediately. These Mutas are already tanking a lot of damage. Harstem's defense so far is excellent. He obviously works with a very small army, but if he can just buy a little bit of time and get a couple of Phoenixes out, all he needs is like 3 or 4 Phoenix, and then this game becomes very, very manageable, if not awesome for him.
Look at how many probes he got. If Harstem stays alive there, he could be in a great position, but not taking any damage against those Mutas is going to be streaky when he has so few Stalkers right now. And True is going straight for the Stalker count there. And he's got more Mutas and Lynx coming in. There's no wall off on the natural. True looking to try and seal the deal with the 3-0. Gonna go straight for the main base, and there is no overcharge left.
Oh, and only a single pylon, Johan. There goes that pylon. Both targets will be on power. GG. True. Oh my god, this guy's a beast. Takes another 3-0 here in the round of 16. Okay, I have never been, well, I've definitely been so wrong once in my predictions, but this was, I did not expect this at all. What a performance by this young man. Representing Storm Gaming. What a guy.
Crushed Snoot, and now Harstem. Doesn't really get any better than this, does it?
This
guy's unstoppable.
I know, I mean, this is of course a player that did qualify for the GSL Codes in an earlier stage this year, so we know that he's incredibly good, but he went up against 2 of Europe's very best so far. Snoot in the round of 32, Harstem in the round of 16, and saying he made it look easy, I mean, there's almost no other way to put it. He's so damn convincing.
You know, there are times when some pro players get a little bit upset with what the casters say about their games. I don't think Harstem will hold it against us if we say that True here made it look pretty easy.
No,
like 3-0, very clean. Some pretty fast games, especially the first 2, and now the decision to go for Mutas really makes sense the whole way.
I know.
He was in such a comfort position as well, being able to scout that Dark Shrine. So many people would have missed that, and it almost feels as if he looked for it too, knowing that he was 2 games ahead and that Harstem might be trying something crazier.
Like just all the small things. I love how he went for the sentries before, so a hallucinated Phoenix or Oracle wouldn't be able to spot the Spire in time as well. I mean, decision making is something that's sometimes underrated, because obviously this is a game where execution matters so much.
And it was kind of the dream too, that you know, everything like catching the Warp Prism as the Mutas come out. You know, obviously, like if the Warp Prism had gotten there 1 minute earlier, could have been very different.
If you scout a Spire that late, it just becomes incredibly hard. The decisions by True, I won't say Flu, by True were flawless throughout the entire series. I mean, the game 2, you mentioned it with the Bailing drops, and even game 1, just to go for that Roach Ravager Zergling attack as well, the way he picked off the first adepts. If I had full vision, Todd, if I was playing Zerg and I could see the entire map, I would have done everything that True did, just much worse execution. But
you do play Zerg sometimes, or something.
Yeah, but he
doesn't go like this, does he?
No, he did everything right. Awesome games by him, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say as he's on the couch with Sue.
Thank you very much, Rotterdam. Congratulations, True.
Thank you.
It just seems you're on a streak here. Yesterday, you had a quick 3-0 over Snoot. Today, quick 3-0 over Harstem, also a 2-time champion this year. You're just, there's so much momentum. What's going on here?
Yeah, I beat 2 China champions. Because I think they jet lag.
The Europeans are very tired, you think?
Yeah.
Are you not tired?
I'm okay.
You're okay?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you just handle the jet lag better. Very, very modest. But of course, the skill there's a lot of skill involved with your victories as well. Especially in this series, it was just such a strong performance from you from the beginning, the first game, all the way to the very end. I mean, Tasteless, we were watching backstage, and I just can't really pick out any weak moment. He just seems like he was dictating the pace of all 3 of those games.
Yeah, I'm wondering, actually, with the momentum that you have now, do you think it's possible to go through this entire tournament undefeated?
지금까지 6대0으로 계속 이기고 있잖아요.
네네네.
그러면 이런 기세를 계속 타면서 혹시 계속 앉으면서 우승할 가능성이 있는 것 같은지?
I think some hard, but I will try.
So you said some hard, but who, if there's a player who could break your streak, who do you think could break that streak for you?
I think Leap or jerk.
Okay. Well, they're like further on in the tournament, so we'll see if that is a potential matchup that'll happen later. But for now, yesterday you showed us you had a really, really great ZVZ against Snoot. Today it was a ZVP, and your next opponent is also going to be a Protoss.
Yeah.
It'll be either Welmu or Mana. And I believe the last time we checked, Welmu was up 2-0. So depending on whoever does actually make it out and face you, do you have a preference? Do you prefer either Welmu or Mana?
I think I prefer Mana because I played him in ladder many times, so I know his style, but I don't really know Welmu.
So when you played Mana, how many times did you win versus him? You can be honest with us. We'll keep it a secret.
Yeah, just sometimes lose, sometimes win. Yeah.
Oh, another great humble answer. I'm sure Mana will be thankful. But well, congratulations. I guess we'll find out who you face, so whether it's Welmu or Mana. But of course, you are moving on to the top 8 here, so congratulations again. Of course, we will have our third match of the round of 16 coming up. It'll be a very, very exciting one. It is a rematch of the IEM Shanghai Grand Finals from just about a week ago, I believe. So it'll be a very, very good one. Make sure to tune in. It'll be Neeb versus Thermal.